Hey guys, welcome back to Honey Let's Talk on Afrovibes TV. I'm your host Cami, and I have my guest here,
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah. She's my dear friend. Met her out here in Houston. She's very sweet. So tell us a little bit about you.
Born and raised in Houston, Texas. I bartend, I freelance bartend, and I also have a mobile bartending business, Boozy Chic Mobile Bartending. And
Hit her up. Look, every event gets fancier with a little personal bar.
of course,
Right.
any kind of event. And then also, so that's how I met Cami. We were bartending at Jolie.
Yeah, we worked at Jolie together.
Never, whatever. But yeah, so and that's just why I'm here.
Okay,
For my
so
girl.
thank you so much for coming on my show, girl. I appreciate it. Today we actually gonna talk about a whole lot of things. You know, we gonna do my honey, let's clock it at the end because we have to. And then we just gonna get into like Black excellence, generational wealth, kind of how we're feeling now, how we're evolving, how we're kind of staying stagnant in some ways. So when we think about Black excellence, basically, what do you think about when you think Black excellence?
You know, like what is it? Like Bob Marley said, "No more worry." Like
Okay,
you know what I
no
mean?
worry, yeah.
Like just putting you, your kids, your grandkids, your family, just putting you all in place to like not have to worry. You know what I mean? We have so much to worry about in this world. So
Yeah,
like
there's
if we can make sure we're mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually, you know, excelling, then I feel like that's, you know, Black excellence.
Okay. And then do you feel like the Black community has like a pressure to excel? I feel like the way this country has evolved and, you know, all the things that have happened in the past, do you feel like now in this generation, like the Black community feels like kind of a pressure to excel, to kind of feel equal, if that makes sense? Or kind of like, you know, we gained back our power, so now we have to do more to kind of show y'all what we are and what we got, kind of thing. Do you feel that kind of pressure?
Heck yes. Heck yes. Not just as a Black a woman, but a Black woman as well. You know what I mean? Like from our family, from our, you know, partner, our friends, our workplace. We have just pressure coming from all over the place. You know, Black men being seen as, you know, because of their power that they sometimes don't even know they have, but you know, you know, but because of it, they're like the biggest targets, and we're targets within our own. You know, that's why we're labeled aggressive, and you know, ghetto, and all.
So that societal pressure kind of thing. Yeah, I feel like Black excellence, that pressure to excel, comes from kind of all aspects of life. Like, you know, as a mother, obviously, you feel like you have that pressure from your kids because you kind of have to be that role model for them. But then also, as a daughter, you feel that pressure because you have to be that, you know, I'm not a failure kind of, like, you know, I'm going to show the world that, you know, I'm not going to be one of those people that they label as a hoodlum or as just a nobody, or, you know,
a baby mama.
Yeah, just somebody baby mama, like, you know.
Yeah.
But I also feel like there's pressure from like different jobs, like like the Black community. I feel like they've done so much to do that whole Black excellence thing, but then again, that societal pressure, like even jobs,
it can make us compete against each other almost.
Yeah.
It's like it almost gets to a point where we don't even want to help see each other win.
I feel like, yeah, sometimes, like in a way, you could say that like we're so used to being oppressed that sometimes we force the oppression onto ourselves and kind of don't break that curse. Like we kind of stay stagnant, and we're like, okay, you know, like we can only get so far because so and so gets this, but the societal pressure of not being able to excel to that level, like I feel like I can't go nowhere with that. But at the end of the day, like I feel like, you know, living your truth out here, it's
hard.
Yeah, it's hard, but it's definitely possible. Like there's a lot of people out there.
Necessary.
Yes, and luckily we have a lot of role models that, you know, have achieved that can show us, you know, that there is a paved way for you to like make that happen. And I don't know, for me myself, I think that Black excellence is just really dipping your feet into anything possible. Like the sky's the limit, and don't let anyone stop you, regardless of what type of authority they hold. Like just kind of like this.
Yeah, no, literally.
Like, and then this is an Afrovibes TV network. Like, this is like Black excellence in itself. This is literally a platform for Black excellence. So
I'm honored. I'm gonna tell my grandma. No, literally no, and it's crazy because me and her was actually just talking about that, even from like pressure from family. Like, I know in my family, everyone, they were like, go to college, get a blue collar job, make sure that you're stable, make sure that you're, you know what I mean? Like and then here we are in a world today where look at what's going on with our government.
Yeah, exactly.
You think like, oh, I'm working for the government, I'm good, but it's like, no, not if situations like this happen. You never know. And I think that's where that mental strength, that spiritual strength. I feel like that's where that comes in. That's why when I talked about Black excellence, I made sure to label those things as well because they're just as important.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And like, having those expectations for yourself of being able to, like you said, you wanted to go to college and get the blue collar job and all that stuff. I feel like it's kind of like an anxious avoidance because we want to avoid the things that are going on in the society, like, and we don't want them to affect us directly, kind of thing. But like you said, in this society nowadays, it's kind of like,
it's scary.
Yeah, you don't even know
for us all.
Girl, it's only been a week. It's literally only been a week. Like, every day I wake up and I'm just like, I don't get it. I can't. Like, there's more and more bullshit. And it's like, I think out of like everything that I've seen, there was like one good thing, but it's not even realistic. Like the whole like the tax thing, like he's taking the taxes away. I was like, okay, I don't hate that. But you still did like 5 wrongs and like 1 right. And then your 1 right is not even like 100%. Like, this is like a 50-50 chance of actually happening, but
to be determined.
Exactly. But I feel like, like it's Black excellence is something that's definitely achievable, but it's definitely something that you have to work 10 times harder than the next one, if that makes sense.
And that's why we need to band together. Like, honestly, we have too much power amongst us, and that's where, also too, where it goes into breaking those generational curses. It's like a lot of times we're in survival mode. We're tearing each other down. We're not building each other up. And then it's like, we're just wondering why history keeps repeating itself. It's almost like a condition. We're conditioned.
Kind of like the forcing of oppression on ourselves type of thing. Yeah.
What you were saying. It's crazy because I don't know. Like, where does it change? Like, where does it, at what point do we?
That is something. But I feel like that also, like, the mental health aspect of that too. Like, I feel like that pressure to excel, like the mental health, like it could either crush you or it can push you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like HBCUs, for example, like how do you think that kind of puts a stamp on Black excellence? Do you think it's like actually, like, hey, this is ours. This is like, anyone who graduates from there, like we kind of.
I don't know, honestly, because I went to a PWI. I went to UCSA. So I can't speak to that. Like, I don't know, because I know some good people who went to a HBCU. I know good people who went to a PWI. I know shitty people who went to a HBCU.
Right.
I know shitty people who,
so then which one do you think is more of a staple? Like, do you feel like, Black excellence, like someone that comes out of an HBCU? But then I feel like sometimes, someone that's coming out of a PWI is like, listen, I just shitted on y'all. And I was uncomfortable doing it the whole fucking time, but I still did, like, I excelled as a Black person. Even though I was in the circumstances where I might have been uncomfortable 80% of the time.
Right.
So I feel like
being a minority.
Yeah, like HBCUs are definitely a staple because like it's our stuff. Like this is Black excellence in a community. But then also like just being able to overcome all the circumstances of going to a PWI, because even me going there, like there were uncomfortable moments. There were like moments where I had to just turn the other cheek, and be like, okay, I ain't hear that, or I'm, but like
that's why I say I couldn't fully answer the question because both have their own struggles, both have their own triumphs. I feel like, you want to believe HBCUs, so of course a lot more, but there's just a different level of perseverance that comes when you go to a PWI.
I can agree with that too.
I don't say more or less. Different, like,
well, from personal experience, I think that I worked harder at a PWI just because I was trying to prove a point. Like, I didn't get here because they needed to fill the the catalog with, you know, diversity and stuff like that. Like, I didn't get here for the school magazine to have, you know, a diverse background. I came here because, you know, because there was an entrance exam for my school that I went to. So, like, I got here just like the next person did, whether you're black, white, blue, Asian, like, you know, like, we all got here at the same time. And now it's time for me to prove why I'm here and how I deserve to be here. So I feel like, because the town that I grew up in, it was a very diverse town, but it was obviously minorities mostly. So, like, I feel like if I look back to it all the time, I'm like, if I went to that school, like, I'm not saying that it would be suppressing me from actually being able to achieve what I do, but I feel like having that, like, volition to prove a point at the PWI. Yeah, like,
you got Olivia Poppet, girl.
I was in every extracurricular. I went and I started clubs. Like, I got into the Junior Honor Society, and then I made sure I was like one of the board members. I was like, I want to be secretary so that y'all know I'm in here for real. Like, Honor Society, yeah, you gonna see me.
And see, that's Black excellence,
right? Like,
you know, they probably thought you came in and was just like, oh, it's just da 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 da, and then
just
you
another black girl.
But you showed them you know you're the black girl.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You're the black girl. What do you mean? Like, this is what we do. Like,
no, yeah, I agree.
I love that.
I definitely feel like it was good that I went there, because then also, like, when it came time for graduation and stuff like that, like, they would say the top 5 and the top 10s, and like, you'd see the amount, like, the diversity in that, and you'd be like, wow, like, I proved my point. Like, when people say, oh, she was up there, yeah, she was up there, you know? I feel like before, like, if I was in the other one, like, I'd be one in the crowd. Like, I'm not saying that the school I could have gone to, because it was full of minorities, that, you know, I wouldn't be able to excel as much, but it's more of like I feel like I stood out more, because there could have been a lot of minorities that excelled, but like, I feel like the Black excellence staple comes from, okay, she also overcame all those obstacles and uncomfortable moments as well.
Perseverance, yeah.
And then, did you go to a PWO for college, or?
Yeah, so I went to TSA. Of course, I ended up just like literally turning to bartending or whatever. Like, of course, I did certifications, all that stuff. But as far as like graduating from there, no. I just literally transitioned into bartending, then started my business, and then just went from there. Like, so I just didn't really turn back.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like my family, like, degrees, and like, they're doing good, they're doing amazing. And so that's where it's like, for me, it's like, I can't fail, I can't, you know.
But if you think about it, you just said it yourself, you started a business. That's Black excellence in itself. Well, like,
it's hard. No.
You could have been like, you know what, I'm gonna go bartend, and I'm just gonna bartend. Yeah, like, that's it. Like, no, I'm not settling with this. I'm gonna start a business, kind of see where I can go with what I'm doing and what I enjoy. Sure. Instead of just being like, you know what, I'm gonna either stick it through and just do what I have to do, but not really excel in it, or, you know, just redirect, but then also kind of settle instead of like going up and above it. Yeah. But yeah, okay, so that was a little snippet onto what Black excellence was in our eyes. And then when we come back, we obviously gonna get a little bit deeper into it. We're gonna get some Honey Let's Clock It into it, and then just just chilling, yapping, girls' time or whatever. But yeah, we're gonna go over to commercials. This is Honey Let's Talk on Afrovibes TV. We'll be right back. Hi guys, welcome back to Honey Let's Talk on Afrovibes TV. I'm Cami, and I have my guest here,
Aaliyah.
And we were just talking about Black excellence. In the first segment, we were talking about how, you know, what kind of like view we have on Black excellence, how we have to break societal pressure, how sometimes we feel like we can't excel because we become our own oppressors rather than breaking the oppression, because we're just so used to being into that kind of environment. But kind of stemming off from that, we kind of wanted to dive deep into like the little aspects of Black excellence and how we can achieve that. So what do you think one aspect of Black excellence is like?
Well, okay, for starters, like, as a mom, you know, my baby has autism. And I feel like with my family, they could do just like a little better job of educating themselves on how to handle him, what to expect, how to read him and understand him, because, he's really big on, he doesn't really say how he feels, but he will definitely show you how he feels. Like, you'll know. Mm-hmm. So, with that, I always tell them, I'm like, this is why you have to educate yourself, because you understand, like, he's a 3-year-old. Mm-hmm. He can't express himself. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How many times as adults can we not express ourselves when we get frustrated? Like,
yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying, kind of like in the sense, like, Black excellence isn't always just like what you can show off and what you can do for society, but it's also like within the Black community, like how we can excel and progress and not stay plateaued into like the mentality of what we had back then, like evolve with culture and mentality. Yeah, kind of like the same mentality, like evolve with culture and evolve with knowledge, and just kind of bring all the aspects into like being able to evolve to get to that Black excellence. Because I feel like education definitely is something that I wouldn't say is lacked, but like it's definitely something that we could be doing a little better in, like in families, like you said, with like different aspects. Like you said, you have a child with autism. Sometimes I feel like in Black families, like with my family at least, like it took a while for them to come to the acceptance, because I feel like we already feel like so much pressure, like we have to, fill this void, we have to do this, we have to do that.
And like, wonder when you break down, or
it's like you're already a Black boy, you're already a Black child, like you can't act out because we already have this stereotype on us, and it's kind of like you suppress the community within the community, and you're already being an oppressor without even being on the opposite end,
and starting young too, because that's what hurts my feelings a little bit. It's like I feel like if we practice more, not unconditional love. I don't want to say, no, I will say unconditional love. Like, sometimes unconditional and I guess tolerable.
Yeah. I mean,
like, go ahead there, but no, like, I mean, just as far as, loving us in spite of our own personal differences from within.
Yeah. Like just love thy neighbor kind of thing.
Literally. Love thy kids, love thy everybody, their cousin, the uncle, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like when it comes to mental health, like, unfortunately in the Black community, it's kind of like taboo. And it's not addressed until it's too late, or it's not addressed or want to, be paid attention to until it's like a big something's too.
It's already too serious. Yeah. Because if you even look at the statistics, the amount of minorities that actually do commit suicide or actually do end up in rehab hospitals, like the percentages are the highest out of everyone. And it's usually Black male figures too. It's the male community as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like we were saying, like, it's not only the knowledge part of it, but it's also like the acceptance part of, like, the knowledge, the acceptance, and then being able to, not put so much pressure on within ourselves kind of thing. Like,
because we get pressure from everywhere else.
Yeah, like you already have the pressure from everything else. Like,
so many times, like holidays, you come home and it's like you want to just relax and eat food and be with your family, be with your cousins. No, you got to answer 1,000 questions from Auntie so and so, and and half the time her stuff ain't in order. Even what I mean?
Like them little Thanksgiving memes that they be like, "Where's your boyfriend? Like, I don't know. Where's your husband, Auntie?"
Kids at
right, like didn't you have? Oh, okay.
But yeah, like and it's just like, dude, I just want to take a break. I just want to take a breather and be around the people who's supposed to love me despite what I have going on in that outside world, versus not me coming here home and being ridiculed. Like I always tell people, like, because I have parts of my family that's toxic, and then I have parts of my family that's non-toxic.
Yeah.
And I always am like, dude, like I love the non-toxic part, and then I love them just as much as I love the toxic family members. Don't get it,
But it just there's so much you can.
It's only so much you can deal with, and at the end of the day, you kind of just be like, dude, now I see why you don't see this cousin for so long, or I see why they moved all the way up there.
Yeah, your eyes really do open up, like. Your eyes open up as you start growing with your family. You start seeing like, oh, this is why. Okay,
and it sets us back. It sets us back as a family. as a community.
And that's kind of going back to the whole generational curse thing, like being able to break the generational curse. With knowledge, you can break the generational curse. With love, with acceptance, with just even being able to, you know, like mental health, that's a touchy subject. And I feel like in the Black community, like you said, it is taboo. Like, not a lot of people open up about it because I feel like not a lot of people care to educate themselves about it. Like, I feel like myself, I went to school for like the medical aspect of it. So I was educated on different mental health things. And it's like, this is not only a belief, but this is also science behind it. You know, there's a book that classifies every diagnosis, and like, there's a code for every diagnosis. Like, there's literally like explanations as to everything that happens, the symptoms, everything, like whether it be schizophrenia, whether it be just simply depression, or whether it be ADHD, like different things. Like, I feel like if we just take the time to educate ourselves on stuff like that, it would help so much. And like the generational curses, like just help evolve and break out of them.
Yeah.
And kind of the same thing with, like you and I were talking earlier with the voting, like that's also another thing that we kind of have to break a generational curse, because like we have to gain knowledge in order for us to actually step in and make something happen. And you know, obviously sometimes you feel like, okay, it's not happening in my front yard, so it's not going to really change my day-to-day life. It's just like, what did I say?
Honestly, and I said it earlier, I guess I gotta repeat it now. You know, I feel like I fall into that, you know, category where I feel like if it doesn't affect my baby, you know, I don't even be worried about myself. I'm like, if my baby, then I'm like, what is gonna, you know, be the best thing for my child, you know, as far as school, as far as, you know, ABA therapy, speech therapy, you know, all these different things, you know, it's just like, I need to do better. You're right. I should do better educate myself. But, you know, it's so much.
Yeah, I know. But honestly, like, even just, I wouldn't even say it's ignorance necessarily, you know, just gaining more knowledge. And even if you feel like you still have to step back and just gain more knowledge in order to put your foot in and like put your like 2 cents in, then that makes more sense. Like, you know, I'm not educated enough on this, so I'm not going to go and just make an irrational decision or just go and start saying stuff.
Right.
Like, educate yourself before you start advocating, and then before you start, you know, because then you might even start advocating for the wrong stuff. So it's like, I feel like
that's what I'm scared of.
Yeah, like, I don't necessarily think it's education all the time or ignorance all the time. It's just, you know, look into it first, and then before you start advocating for things, you know, make sure you're advocating for the right stuff before you just go and start blabbing things, which I think is also, I'd rather someone sit silent and like educate themselves before they step in and start talking and advocating than someone that's just like, you know what, I heard so and so say it, so I'm gonna just start saying, you know, this is what I believe in, da da da. But how deeply rooted is that knowledge and that belief that you actually have, kind of thing. So I don't always see it as ignorance, but I definitely feel like we do need to do better in the Black community, because sometimes we feel like it's not affecting us directly, and then it starts affecting us directly, and we're all like, "Oh, fuck!" But it's like, no, like we could have avoided this. You know, I was no tea, no shade, but okay. But you know, now that we got all the deep, profound, you know, food for thought. We was talking food for thought, kind of getting y'all to understand where we're coming from and kind of like start thinking about how you think Black excellence is now versus in the past, how it's evolved, how it's staying plateaued, like how generational curses affect it, how knowledge affects generational curses and Black excellence, you know, kind of getting you to think deeper into it, and kind of hearing what we feel like our perspectives from it too. But to lighten up the mood, we're gonna get into honey. Let's clock it, okay? Jam with Cam real quick. Okay, so I'm just gonna read a whole bunch of questions. Nothing too crazy, but basically it's like plead the fifth, but you only get to plead the fifth twice. So after you plead the fifth 2 times, no more. It has to come out, or else you gotta get out. No, I'm playing. All right, Lord. And then obviously I'm gonna answer them too, so don't feel like the spotlight's on you. I'm gonna confess some stuff too. Oh. All right. All right, ready? Name a guilty pleasure of yours.
Can I say weed?
That's funny. I'm not mad at you for that. It's a guilty pleasure. Let's see. I don't even know if I have a guilty. I was like,
Yeah, say mine.
well, I guess that and be my guilty pleasure.
Chocolate or
okay, maybe TikTok.
Oh, okay.
But I don't even just be scrolling on TikTok and stuff like that. Like that's already an addiction. But I'd be up there like just
like something you know what I mean, like something you like really enjoy that you feel
but it's like why do I enjoy it so much? Some little TikTok dances, I'll be like, oh, I'm so excited. I'll be let's see. What was the most embarrassing nickname you've ever had?
I don't know. I only had like one nickname growing up. It was Lily.
Lily. That's cute though. Yeah. You never had like an embarrassing nickname?
Leela Butt. I guess somebody
Leela Butt.
But I'm like, what? Okay.
All right. I think mine was Camel. Yeah, they was trying to play with me. Yeah. They was trying to play with me. What is your favorite position in bed?
Sorry, Grandma.
We'll bleep it up. No, what?
Cowgirl.
Okay. I think I'm gonna say I wanna ride. Whatever Jocelyn Hernandez said. Yeah. What's the craziest thing you've done in the last 5 years?
Had a baby.
Oh my god.
Girl, you should have saw it. Yes. Something stick. I was like, what the fuck is?
Wow, I don't think I could top that. My craziest thing in the last 5 years. I don't even think I don't think I can. I'm not gonna lie. I am a retired crash out, and I definitely had like a moment, and I ended up on the roof of an airport.
Okay.
I don't know how I got on the roof of the airport. I was drunk.
And you made it out.
Well, yeah, because security tackled me. They're like, "What are you doing?" I was like, honestly, I don't know how I got here. Don't arrest me. Like, I was having a moment. I was very depressed. Like, I wasn't gonna do it. I really swear I wasn't gonna do it. Like, I just wanted to come up here.
You just wanted to look at the city.
I was like, I just wanted to come up here for the view. I wasn't even in the country, girl. I was out the country.
See, it's a new city. It's a foreign place. You want to get that view,
right? Exactly.
We listen and we don't judge.
All right, and then this is the last question, and it's kind of messy. You complete the fifth, but it says, which one of your friends would you not like if they weren't your friend? Like all of them. Like if I wasn't your friend, I really would not be fucking with you. Like,
no, every single fucking one of them, from Tavius to Shania, hell, Sandy. Like we love each other so much, but we be like, bitch, like really, like
on, if we wasn't like this,
nigga,
I would not fuck with you.
All of them, every single one. And if I didn't name you, you too. Like I love you, but fuck. And I know they feel the same way about me.
No, listen, I be telling the friends that my friends back home, they be knowing like my friend April, I love her to death. But I tell her all the time, I was like, girl, if we was not friends, we would beef. We would have beef.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of, I feel like, the relationship, because like we can have that vulnerability, that openness. Like we get on each other's ass, we get on each other's nerves.
Yeah, like, you could be an asshole, but it's tough love.
It's love.
All right, well that's it for Honey. Let's clock it, and it's also about that type of time to wrap it up as well. Thank you, Aaliyah, for coming on the show. Guys, keep watching. Tune in for next week. Honey, let's talk on Afrovibes TV. Again, I'm your host, Cami. Make sure you watch next time. Bye.